Welcome to the Occupational Safety Leadership Podcast, episode number 323. Today's episode, we'll talk about taking the time to thank the employee for hazard reporting, a couple follow-up actions. Employees like to know, just not that they've been heard, but what's the next step? But before we get started, I'd like everybody to do that like, subscribe, all that good stuff then. So my goal is I want to make everybody a better safety professional than I am. I'm doing everything I can to provide lessons learned. Some of these lessons learned are because I really did something dumb the first time. Luckily there wasn't anybody who was hurt in this thing, but I think I've come up with some pretty good strategies after 30 some years of doing safety. But the goal is, of course, I want everybody to do better than I did. I want you to profit from my pain, listen to a couple of the things. Not everything is going to apply in every scenario too. But if I can just get through to a couple of folks, give a couple of different strategies, ways of looking at a problem from another angle, how do we interact with people? Because as a very young, brash man, I thought I was extremely smart. Well, what I later learned is that safety is really built on people. You really got to get to know the people. So before I go down a whole road of preaching, the whole thing was just, like, subscribe. I want to get the visibility out there as much as possible. So let's get back to the issue at hand today. So I want to take just a couple seconds to talk to folks about taking the time to thank the employee for hazard reporting. So let's just talk about a scenario. Joe reports a hazard. And whether you have a fancy electronic system, a good old fashioned paper system, even if you have a anonymous system as well, there's not all not every culture out there is going to be very positive towards safety and helping out, and so you may have those times where somebody has to put a sticky note on your desk, and of course, so let's say that in this case, of course, we know that it was Joe who did this, and it doesn't even matter what hazard it was. We have to go find Joe. We're not going to Skype him. We're not going to shoot him an email. It's not going to be an automated email that says, thank you for reporting your hazard. It's going to be number 55. Please stand by for follow on actions. It's going to be a good old fashioned. We go down, we talk to Joe, and we thank Joe for his actions reporting the hazard, and then we talk about here's the follow up actions that we're going to do, Joe. Here's the estimated timeline, all that good stuff. Then, now this doesn't mean that you're not doing stuff by email too, but email is not always a good way to communicate. Email is not always a good way to build that rapport, to sit down, to talk to people, and let them know that you're also a person too, just like they're a person. You've heard their concerns and you're working on their concerns. It's also important that if there's a delay in getting this thing fixed, maybe you can't find the parts, maybe it sounded like a fantastic idea, and when you really dove into it, you realize that what you guys first were going down is just not a plan that's viable. You have to go back to Joe and say, Joe, bad news, bud. We started down a path. It's not a viable plan, or it's going to take longer to get the part, whatever the situation is. So Joe knows. And again, the email is a way to communicate, but I don't know about you guys, but I get hundreds of emails a day. You know, most are just kind of hey, here's a CC for you. I'm taking this action. I'm doing this. Some things are more for information, and some things are more for I need you right now. Get down here, and that's all, and that's awesome. But if I don't get that till 2 o'clock, just because I don't really see like the subject and everything else. So so try to do everything you can to do face to face. I know it sounds kind of old fashioned in today's world. We want to just pick up our phone and shoot a text, or we want to do something. And that is a way to communicate. I understand that sometimes we're handling multiple sites, and a face-to-face may not be a realistic option, but it is when you're at that site the next time. It may not be even during the time that you're fixing this, but if you go to that site in 6 months, you need to do everything you can to go find Joe. You sit down, you know, you shake hands, hey, nice to meet you in person, not over the phone, not by Skype, not by a impersonal means. We are in person, the best we can be, of course, given our circumstance. So with that, let's just go ahead there and wrap it up for today. I just think it's really important to go back and thank folks for their effort, and not just for their effort, but here's the follow-on actions and the hazard that you reported. So as I stated earlier, as a brash young man, I just figured I was smart. You know, Somebody would say, hey, the following things have to be done. Well, I'll just fix it. I really don't need input from folks. I can do it. Look how smart I am. If I get a group, I kind of slow things down. I realized that I would have got a lot more input. I would have made much more progress if I had sat down, got input from others, because then they now own what's going to happen. It's not me dictating what's going to happen. It's them saying, we agree, this is our path forward then. So that's something that I really wish I would have learned young. It did take about a year. And then, of course, it was pretty smooth sailing from that point on. But nobody wants to be told this is how it's going to go. And of course, I did that. And I realized it after a while that I was really doing things wrong by doing that. So I've deviated way off topic, but I want to thank everybody for joining me today. My name is Dr. David Ayers. Thank you, and have a safe day.